Hello everybody, welcome back to the workshop. So I'm standing a little closer to the camera, so please excuse our closeness today here on the camera. Don't let that turn you off. Trust me, I'm not coming through your screen. I'm bringing it in close because I'm wanting to talk about something that I see a lot of people doing when they make tooling that is ultimately leading to some tool failures when you are quenching your final product. Now this mainly comes from things that you normally wouldn't think about, and this is a problem when it comes to thicker tooling, especially because we all have heard about stress risers, and this is just another form of stress riser to be aware of and to be careful of. So let's get right into it. The other evening, we had made this beautiful little hammer here during one of our Friday night live streams. If you haven't been in a while, you ought to check them out. They've become pretty darn sweet, if I don't say so myself, with multi-camera angles, things like that. And we do those every other Friday night at 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But enough about that. Anyways, we forged this little Scandinavian style cross-peen hammer, or this little Nordic cross-peen hammer, if you will, for Jessica. And it came out to right at a 1 pound even, which was kind of in the goal of what I was shooting for. I was looking for about 1.25 pounds, but I ended up grinding a good bit to true things up a little more than what I was expecting. So there you have it. It ground down a little bit more, and I went a little higher finish because, Jessica's awesome. So there's time to do that. But yeah, so this is basically what we worked on. Hopefully you can see it. I haven't started the engraving yet. I decided I'm going to go ahead and engrave it for her as well. And, it's at a really super high finish right now. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm trying to look at the screen here on the side of the camera and make sure you guys can see this and it's in focus. But because I've made it such a high finish, I'm going to have to do something before I go to quenching it. Now I'm going to go ahead and I have to do all of the engraving work pre-quench, as this here, as this hammer here could become quite hard and quite solid come the actual quenching of the hammer and the hardening process, and that'll be very hard on my tooling, my engraving tooling. So I'm leaving it soft, engraving it while it's soft, and then I'm going to go ahead and quench the piece. Downside to that is, what happens? It might crack, right? It might crack, something might happen, and then I lose all that time, about 12 hours worth of engraving. But one big thing that you can do to stop this from cracking, I'll get right into it now, finally, after jowling my mouth all much, is see these really sharp ridges. There's really sharp corners on this hammer. Now that looks really great from an aesthetic standpoint, but that is very bad for your hammers to have that sharp of a corner. And the reason for this being is any of the material that comes to a head like that into a really super sharp pinched off corner is a stress riser. And what makes it a stress riser is the fact that these edges here cool down super quick, where the core of the body doesn't cool down as fast, and it tends to create cracking right there on the edge because it chills too quickly and unevenly from the rest of the billet, and that ends up causing a crack, and that propagates out through your hammer. And the most common place where that will happen is right across the eye. Somewhere right across the eye, it'll crack right across there, and you'll just be absolutely depressed that it happened. Now, that means we need to sand off these edges a little bit. Not much. We only need to take and create maybe less than a 1/16 of an inch flat, maybe a 32nd of an inch flat across there, and that alleviates a hoop load of stress off this hammer, and then we can re-square this back up later on when we do our final finishing work. It'll have a little smoother feel to it because it's been radius somewhat, not super sharp. But that's something to keep in mind when you're grinding on something, right? Don't grind all the way to that finished profile if you know that you want to have really super sharp edges on this. If you want these to be really super sharp edges, do not grind all the way into that finished profile before you take and quench it. We're also going to have scale that we have to knock off this piece and to contend with and clean up and finish up work to be able to handle this and all that other stuff to have to. I just have it test fitted right now to make sure that everything was going to line up and it was going to come out square and I didn't have to fix anything goofy. But yeah, this is going to become a real pretty little hammer when it's done. But that's it for today. That's a tip for you. I hope that'll help some of you out there. Don't let your work get too sharp of edges. This can also happen inside of the drifted hole as well. So make sure that that has a really nice hourglass shape and it's been radiused off. Take a bit of sandpaper and radius off the inside edges of that, and you will help eliminate a lot of stress cracking that may result in an actual hammer failure down the road. So anyways, let that be a lesson to you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button. And if you like to support content like this, check out our website, blacksmithpds.com. That's it. God bless. We'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.